Hi everyone, Anna here from Denzel's Dog Training. We have to talk about Frenchies. Dog people, 2,300 of you liked my recent post on Jon Jr., the one on my Instagram that starts with, "He's back." And back he was indeed, that little guy. So I'm aware Frenchies are still a very, very popular breed. Many of you clearly like Frenchies. You respond to the images. You think Jon Jr. is the cutest little guy in the world. He sure is cute. However, there is a very big however. There is so much mistreatment of French bulldogs. I'm sure you're all aware of the terrible breeding, the bad breeding. I hear stories every week. And what's happening with these little dogs is they're very much being relegated to a category to which they really don't belong. They're being treated as if they're a kind of Paris Hilton handbag chihuahua. If you don't know who Paris Hilton is, please go and use the internet and find out. French bulldogs are actually a bully breed. They have bulldog genetics in them. So if you were imagine, if you just forget the cute little flat face and round baby eyes for a second, we're talking about something that's more like an American bully, a staffy, even a pit bull or a boxer, mixed into this one chunky little body. It's very active, wants to do things, wants to play, wants to run, wants to be active. And instead, these little dogs are kept as little lap dogs, or at least people want them to be quiet little lap dogs who spend hours and hours and hours and hours in the home, supposed to be calm. There's a lot of nonsense in dog training at the moment, all about dogs having to be calm all the time. Really, they don't. They are dogs. And this is really affecting the number of French bulldogs in rescue. So for a moment, humor me for a second. Please go on a search engine and look up French bulldog rescues. In your country, in your area, wherever. There are a lot in the UK, a lot. When the dad of Jon contacted me and he actually asked for a reference from me for him to adopt that dog because I knew him already. I knew he'd previously had a French bulldog. I became aware of how many Frenchies were in rescue and the dire straits they were in, often rehomed 3 or 4 times. Jon was rehomed, I think, at least twice. And as I've mentioned in another video, he would have been in a puppy mill situation. That is, the female dog was used for breeding over and over and over again, and the puppies are taken while they are still very young. Too young to have learned bite inhibition, which is what they learn when the mother snaps at them, when they're being annoying and bothering her when she wants to rest, or annoying their fellow siblings and being too rough and aggressive in their play when their siblings will quickly instruct them on, "That's too much, I don't want you to do that, I don't like it when you do that." So when puppies miss that, they miss out on a very crucial part of their development. This is how Jon developed his tendency for biting when he just wanted attention or wanted to play. That's what that's all about. So if you do like French bulldogs, please go and look at a local rescue. Go and find them. You can get dogs. Well, actually, what's wrong with getting a 4 or 5-year-old dog? Why does everybody want a younger dog? They're going to have more energy. They're going to be way more zappy. People keep forgetting that dogs of 6 or 7 years old can live for another 7 or 8 or longer years, with the right diet, the right exercise. So don't rule out older dogs. If you get puppies, be aware you will have to puppy train them. There will be a lot of biting. So if you have small children, maybe just don't do that. Maybe just get a slightly older dog. Please adopt a dog. Please help out some of these rescues. They are all overstretched in terms of capacity, in terms of any funding they have for blankets, bedding, food, vet bills, everything. It's absolutely terrible what's happening with French bulldogs. Here's just a little story of what I heard recently from somebody. Somebody was asked on an estate where they live here in Lincoln whether he, the man, would breed his Labrador with a French bulldog bitch. This is the kind of freaky, horrendous stuff that's happening with many breeds. I've seen bulldogs bred with Rottweilers, really terrible combinations that cause endless physical problems for the dogs. So please be aware of that. You might see that Jon Jr.'s face is actually very flat. When you see his body, he's very chunky, very short little legs. It's not a breed French bulldog body. He probably had a English bulldog dad or mum. Something like that has to be in the mix for him to be as hench as he is up the front of his body. So tough and muscular up front. So he's got a lot of energy, a lot of drive. And as I was saying, a lot of these dogs do. So it's quite normal for French Bulldogs to want to tug because they're a bully breed. They're not Pomeranians. So the mistake a lot of people are making when they are playing with their Bulldog is they're using soft toys and just sort of flailing them around. The dog can't find anything to target on. And this is where you get all kinds of hand biting because the dog has no clear target on which to bite. Just go online and find something like this. This is a bite wedge with handles. You can hold this and present the dog with a clear surface on which to bite. And then you can really play with the dog hard. You can go all out. You've got a nice slippery floor like me. You can drag the dog across the floor. You can lift them up off the ground. You can have so much fun. You can let the dog win. You can win. The French Bulldogs absolutely love this. They adore it. So get the right tug toys so you're not getting bitten. If you are really worried, just get yourself a nice pair of strong hand gloves. Gardening gloves will do fine. If you're a bit worried about playing tug with your dogs or you're worried about your fingernails or something like that, use gloves. So back to French Bulldogs. Another lady I'm aware of, who I spoke to a couple of times here in Lincoln, has 3 French Bulldogs. In conversation one day in her workplace, she was telling me about one of the dogs, and I said I was a dog trainer, and she asked for my advice on this male French Bulldog, whom she had to walk separately from the other dogs because he was such a pain in the ass. I gave her the advice, and it actually worked. When I ran into her again a few months later, she said, yeah, that dog, it actually helped and things were much better. Then she told me about another dog, one of the 3 French Bulldogs, who was a female. This dog apparently had separation anxiety, was on walks, nipping at people on walks, all kinds of crazy behavior in the house. And again, I offered to train the dog. I said, this dog really needs help. It sounds like a handful. And she never took me up on that. And when I saw her again on another occasion, she said her husband didn't want to train the dog. So this little Frenchie's living a life of misery, crated quite often, most of the day, doesn't get enough exercise, doesn't get out enough. I told her, I said, if that dog is biting people on the street, in public, every chance it'll be seized and taken away and killed. That's what happens. This is the law in the UK. Dogs just don't go out and randomly bite people and live to tell another tale. So if you are thinking about getting a Frenchie, or I hope adopting a Frenchie, please be aware that you do need to train the dog. You absolutely do. Any dog coming out of rescue is going to be highly stressed in terms of all the panic barking they can hear from dogs around them. This really, really winds dogs up. They think they're going to be attacked. All they're hearing is a lot of barking from different directions. They can't even see where it's coming from. So these dogs are stressed out for weeks after coming out of rescue. You have to be prepared for that. You should have a trainer lined up, or at least speak to somebody, and just be prepared to pay a good sum of money, given some people spend thousands on getting a dog. Be prepared to pay what it's worth for you to get an education on how to train a dog that you will have for its whole life, that will help you and the dog. So if you're going to get a French Bulldog, if you're not an experienced dog owner or a dog handler, get a trainer when you get your French Bulldog so you can help this little dog to live the best life and stop this horrible, endless round of rehoming or adoption or euthanasia that's happening with this breed. It's truly awful to see dogs like this get shown at Crufts, actually win a prize for a very flat face. That was, I think, caused a lot of controversy here in the UK when that little dog won. However, their actual plight is often completely ignored. So if you do like French Bulldogs and you did like the Jon Jr. post, please think very carefully about adopting a Frenchie and getting a trainer to help you with it so it can adjust, settle in, and live a great life. If you live in Lincoln and have a French Bulldog you want help with, a rescue French Bulldog, I will offer you 15% off automatically on any package I have at the moment. I'd suggest you start with 4 sessions if you're an experienced dog handler, 5 if you're not, and I will help you with that dog. Please just drop me a DM if you need this. All right, thanks very much for listening, and have a heart for French Bulldogs. Thanks, dog people. See you soon. Bye.